Alex sat at his desk, staring blankly at the flickering screen in front of him. The low hum of the spaceship's engine was the only sound accompanying his monotony. He'd been on the station for what felt like forever, his life a loop of routine work, mindless holovids, and barely any human interaction. His fingers tapped absent-mindedly against the side of his coffee mug. There was a part of him that wanted excitement, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what exactly he was craving. Space travel had lost its shine years ago. It wasn't until his communicator blinked that the monotony broke. He sat up straighter, eyes narrowing as he saw the message pop up on his screen. Asterisk, we need to bond, Alex. It's time. You'll understand soon enough. Be ready? Asterisk. He read the message again, blinking slowly. Asterisk bond? Bond. Asterisk, his fingers hovered over the keys. What did that even mean? Was this some kind of mistake? He quickly checked the sender. Asterisk asterisk Serena asterisk asterisk. He didn't know anyone named Serena, at least not anyone who would send him cryptic messages about bonding. Maybe she was some diplomat or admin, though the name didn't ring any bells. He snorted. Asterisk, probably a prank, or glitch. Yeah, definitely a glitch. Asterisk, he muttered to himself. The galactic communications system was constantly breaking down. Maybe it was some spam from a distant corner of the galaxy, something to get his attention, to waste his time. He looked at the message again. It was brief and to the point, but something about it tugged at him. He rolled his eyes and leaned back in his chair. Asterisk bonding? Asterisk what? Like a team-building exercise? It had to be some bureaucratic nonsense. Something official, something lame, nothing fun. He didn't need to be bonded to anyone or anything. He didn't even know how that worked outside of the generic forms his coworkers kept asking him to sign. In his mind, bonding was just another corporate ritual, maybe with some form of mental recalibration or, God forbid, a hug. If anything, they'd probably throw in some weird alien tech to merge their brains, all while pretending it was a huge honor. That was what galactic diplomacy was about, right? Overcomplicating things to make them sound important. Alex snickered at the thought. He wasn't getting caught up in that. He'd ignore it, like he did most of the emails that cluttered his inbox. It wasn't like anyone would miss him. Yet, despite his better judgment, something niggled at the back of his mind. Asterisk, what if it's important? Asterisk. He shrugged it off and went back to his holovids. He had some time to kill. After all, a few hours passed, and the evening had descended into a soft, droning hum of station life. Alex was getting cozy in his chair when the sudden, unmistakable ring of the doorbell startled him. He jumped, nearly knocking his drink over. He wasn't expecting anyone. He walked to the door, rubbing his temples. Maybe it was a delivery, or some technician coming to fix the bathroom light. Still, something felt off. Why would someone ring his doorbell? He never got visitors, except for the occasional maintenance guy. He wasn't exactly the social type. When he opened the door, Alex was immediately struck by the woman standing on the other side. Serena was taller than him, with long, dark hair that cascaded down her shoulders like a waterfall. Her eyes were a sharp, unnervingly confident shade of green, and her posture made it clear she wasn't here to waste time. She was dressed in something that, while definitely fitting for a space diplomat, also screamed alien in a way he couldn't quite place. The outfit was sleek, metallic, almost like liquid silver, but with geometric cuts and strange patterns running across it. It had an ethereal, otherworldly quality to it, and the way it hugged her form didn't exactly help the fact that Alex was suddenly very aware of the awkwardness of the situation. He blinked, uncertain of how to respond. Can I help you?" he stammered, hoping he wasn't staring too hard at her outfit. He cleared his throat. "Are you delivering something? Or are you here for maintenance?" Serena smiled. "I'm here for you, Alex. We need to bond." Alex's face twisted in confusion, his mind racing through 1,000 scenarios. He was still processing her appearance when the word she said clicked, or rather, didn't click. Asterisk bond. Asterisk, his mind kept looping back to that single word. Was she saying what he thought she was saying? "I'm sorry, what?" She didn't seem fazed by his confused expression. She crossed her arms with an almost amused air. "We need to bond, Alex. It's part of a diplomatic ritual. Very important." Alex stood frozen for a moment. Asterisk diplomatic ritual? Bonding? Asterisk. Wait, bonding? he repeated, still grasping for an explanation. His voice was nervous, unsure if he was being pranked or just had no idea what was going on. You mean like some formal handshake thing? Some human space treaty? Merging stuff? Serena raised an eyebrow, her lips twitching with amusement. No, not exactly. I'm not here to merge stuff. She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, and Alex stumbled back, feeling the distinct sensation of someone, taking control of the situation. Wait, he said, hands held up in surrender, his face burning with embarrassment. What kind of bonding? Are you saying this is like some trust exercise or something? Because, honestly, I'm not sure what you're expecting. I don't exactly do well with team-building exercises, you know? Serena walked farther into his apartment, her movements smooth, graceful. She didn't seem bothered by his awkwardness. If anything, she found it amusing. She stopped near the center of the room, placing her hands on her hips. No, Alex, this is more than a team-building exercise. It's an emotional and physical connection. But you'll understand soon enough. Alex's eyes widened as the awkwardness deepened. Asterisk physical connection. Asterisk that didn't sound like paperwork or some space ceremony. He was starting to wonder if the universe had some strange sense of humor and was testing him. Wait, hold on, Alex said, his voice rising, flustered now. I'm not prepared for this. Are we talking like some weird alien ceremony? Because, honestly, I'm just here to make sure the tech's working, not whatever this is. I don't even know who you are. He nervously ruffled his hair, trying to backpedal. I mean, seriously, I'm just a guy trying to avoid some space bureaucracy, and now you want me to, what? Bond with you? He laughed awkwardly, trying to brush it off. I mean, I guess if it's, like, a high five or something, then okay, but... Serena gave him a flat look, an expression that said, asterisk, you're not taking this seriously at all. Asterisk. This isn't about a high five, Alex. Her voice softened, almost teasing. But if it were, you'd have no problem. Alex flushed deeper. Asterisk, this isn't happening. Asterisk, he wanted to say more, to demand an explanation, but his mind was still stuck on that one word. Bonding, emotional and physical connection. He couldn't shake the image of something far more intimate than any diplomatic meeting he'd ever imagined. Serena stepped closer to him. I told you, she said softly, you'll understand soon enough. Alex opened his mouth, about to say something, but the words got stuck. This whole situation, whatever it was escalating so fast that he barely had time to catch up. All right, I think I get it, he muttered. But can you at least, asterisk warn asterisk me before whatever happens next. Serena smiled again, a little more predatory now. I thought you'd never ask. Alex's heart skipped a beat. He could feel the tension rising in the air, thick and electric. He swallowed hard. What had he just gotten himself into? This woman, Serena, was still standing there, looking entirely too confident, way too cool for his comfort level. She looked at him as though he were some kind of, something far less advanced than her. Her smile made it clear that whatever this bonding thing was, she had done it 1,000 times before. So, I'm still not entirely sure what we're doing here, Alex said, trying to keep his voice steady, but failing miserably. His mind was still reeling, struggling to catch up. He rubbed his temples. You're saying this is part of some official ritual or something, and it involves us? Serena took a slow step closer, her gaze never wavering. There was something about the way she moved, fluid, purposeful, that made Alex feel even more uncomfortable. He shifted his weight from foot to foot, trying to keep his cool. Asterisk, come on, Alex, she's just a person. You've got this. It's just an alien ritual, right? You're fine. Asterisk. She nodded, her eyes glinting with a mix of amusement and something else. Maybe pity? Asterisk, or maybe she's just really into messing with me. Asterisk, he tried not to focus on that thought too much. Yes, Serena replied, her voice smooth. It's a bonding ritual, a formal one. We need to connect on both an emotional and a physical level in order to fulfill the diplomatic requirements for this alliance. She paused, letting the words sink in. Humanity is being evaluated, Alex. And asterisk, you asterisk have been chosen to represent humanity in this? Alex blinked. Asterisk chosen. Asterisk his brain struggled to catch up with what she was saying. The fact that she was here, in his apartment, made the whole thing seem too surreal. She was serious about this. She wasn't joking. He could tell. Wait, he muttered. So, you're saying that asterisk I'm asterisk the one chosen for this? The bonding? Is that an honor or something? Because last time I checked, I was just the guy who fixes the computer terminals. And I'm not exactly, the most diplomatic guy around. Serena chuckled softly, her voice low and amused. It's an honor, Alex. You just don't realize it yet. He snorted. An honor? Great. So, what exactly do we? She didn't give him a chance to finish. Before he could form another word, she stepped forward and placed a hand on his arm. The warmth of her touch was immediate, almost electric. He jumped, startled by the intensity of it. The touch wasn't aggressive, though. It was firm, yet gentle, and she looked at him as if waiting for him to respond. The air seemed to thicken, the space between them suddenly so much smaller than it had been a second ago. You've got to relax, Alex, Serena said, her voice almost a whisper now. It's not as complicated as you're making it out to be. Just trust me. Asterisk trust her? Asterisk he blinked, his mind spiraling. This wasn't the kind of situation he'd ever been prepared for. Trust wasn't exactly something he handed out easily, especially when it involved alien rituals and physical connections. And the way she said, just trust me, it sent a shiver down his spine. Well, trust is a little difficult for me right now, Alex said, trying to backpedal. I mean, I didn't exactly expect you to show up at my door talking about bonding, and he trailed off, unsure of what to say next. Isn't there some, I don't know, asterisk consent form asterisk or something? A contract? Some manual? Serena's lips curled into a smirk, a knowing, amused smirk that made Alex feel even more out of his depth. She took a step closer, her eyes never leaving his. You don't need a contract, Alex. You just need to follow the ritual. His mind was racing again. Asterisk okay? Okay. Maybe this isn't as bad as it sounds. I mean, she's not exactly threatening me, right? This is just strange, that's all. Asterisk. But, Alex started, then paused. He couldn't stop himself from looking at her outfit again. It was so alien, so sleek, like she was from another world entirely. And she was, but the way it hugged her body, the way she moved, made him feel an entirely different kind of alien feeling, one that had nothing to do with intergalactic diplomacy. Just relax, Serena repeated, cutting off his next thought. Her fingers brushed across his wrist, sending another electric shock through him. I promise, you'll understand soon enough. All of this is part of the process. You don't have to overthink it. You just need to asterisk let go asterisk and experience it. Asterisk let go. Asterisk that sounded easier said than done. His stomach flipped. This wasn't the kind of thing he was used to. Alex's life had been filled with routine, with comfort zones that kept things simple. And now, standing here with Serena, those zones were nowhere in sight. Well, it's just weird, okay? Alex managed to say, trying to fill the space with words to keep his brain from spiraling into panic. Like, I don't get it. This whole bonding thing sounds like something out of a bad space romance holovid. Are you sure we're not talking about something completely different? Serena raised an eyebrow at him. I'm sure. This isn't a game, Alex. Her tones softened slightly, though there was still an edge to it. The bonding is necessary. Humanity's future is riding on this. He blinked, that last part hitting him with a force he hadn't anticipated. Asterisk humanity's future? Asterisk now this was starting to sound important. But why asterisk him asterisk? Why not someone else? His mind still couldn't wrap around the fact that he, asterisk Alex asterisk, was being asked to do this. Okay, Alex muttered, his voice quieter now. But what exactly am I supposed to asterisk do asterisk? His tone wavered. He didn't want to admit it, but the situation was quickly getting out of his control. Serena's smile returned, though this time it was softer, more reassuring. You're just going to follow my lead. I'll guide you through it. It's nothing you need to worry about. Alex hesitated. His mind was a mess, his thoughts scattered all over the place, but something about the way Serena spoke, the calmness in her voice, made him want to believe her. He felt like a fish caught in the current, unsure of whether to swim away or just let the water carry him. All right, he said at last, his voice a little steadier now. Fine. I'll trust you. But I still don't get why me, though? Serena chuckled, her fingers brushing his arm again. Because, Alex, you're exactly what humanity needs right now. And you just don't know it yet. Her words hung in the air, heavier than he expected. He tried to shake off the unease that was creeping into his chest, but it lingered. What did she mean by that? Why was he so important? He'd never been part of any grand scheme. He was just a guy who knew how to fix wires and keep systems running. Asterisk, what the hell am I even doing here? Asterisk. She took another step closer, and before he could process what was happening, she gently cupped his chin, tilting his face upward so their eyes met. For a split second, time seemed to freeze. The room around them faded into the background as everything narrowed to the moment between them. Trust me, she whispered again, her breath warm against his skin. This is just the beginning. And then, before Alex could react, she leaned in. Her lips brushed his, the contact soft at first, almost tentative. He could feel his heart hammering in his chest, the overwhelming feeling of not knowing what came next crashing over him. The kiss deepened, and his mind. Alex's mind was a whirlwind, a mix of disbelief and something else he couldn't quite put his finger on. The moment Serena's lips touched his, it was like a switch had been flipped in his brain. He barely had time to process the fact that he was in the middle of some intergalactic bonding ritual before she deepened the kiss. His body went stiff for a second, but then the soft pressure of her lips melted his hesitation away. This wasn't what he expected. Not even close. Her hands moved with purpose, fingers trailing along his neck and shoulders, as if she were a part of him he didn't yet understand, like she was unlocking something inside him. Alex could feel his heart racing, not just because of the kiss, but because of the strange sensation that began to settle in the pit of his stomach. It wasn't unpleasant, but it was intense, almost overwhelming. He pulled back for a second, gasping for air, trying to make sense of everything that was happening. Hold on, he said, his voice strained. Are you serious about this? Like, this is part of the rituals? Serena didn't pull away. She kept her gaze locked on his, her expression unreadable for a moment before her lips curled into a small smile. Yes, Alex, this is exactly what it looks like. Her voice was calm, but there was an unmistakable edge to it, like she was daring him to question her again. But this is all? He searched for the right words, his brain scrambling to make sense of the situation. I didn't sign up for this. I thought bonding meant, like, sitting in a circle, holding hands, or something. Not this. He gestured between them, his face flushing with equal parts confusion and embarrassment. Serena sighed, her hands still resting on his chest, fingers lightly tapping against his skin. Alex, bonding isn't some human ritual, okay? It's not just about the physical part. It's a connection a merging star. You're here to experience what humanity can offer, and part of that means letting go of your preconceived ideas. I can't just let go, okay? Alex's voice cracked slightly. He was used to logic, to systems and processes. He wasn't some space explorer or diplomat who could just dive into a ritual and trust everything would work out. He was just Alex. This is way outside my comfort zone. Serena's smile softened, though there was still something commanding about her presence. I'm not asking you to abandon who you are, Alex. I'm asking you to trust me. Her thumb lightly grazed the side of his neck, the gesture almost soothing, but it did nothing to ease the tension in his body. His breath caught in his throat. You've got to be kidding me. Why me? Why are you picking me for this? Serena's expression grew more intense, her eyes narrowing slightly as she searched his face. Because you are human. Because this is your moment to show what humanity is capable of. Alex blinked. Humanity? This is about humanity. He swallowed hard. I don't get it. I'm just, I'm not some grand representative. I'm not. Exactly, she interrupted, her voice softer now, almost coaxing. You're not. But that's exactly why this is important. You have the potential to be so much more, Alex. She moved even closer, her breath brushing against his cheek. This is a test, yes, but it's also an opportunity. For you. For humanity. To connect in a way you've never imagined. You just need to trust that what we're doing here, It's more than just a physical act. It's about understanding, connection. Asterisk bonding star. Alex's thoughts were swirling, but a part of him couldn't deny that there was something compelling in her words. The idea of representing humanity, of being asterisk chosen asterisk for something bigger than himself, was beginning to hit him with a weight he hadn't expected. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up control. Not yet. I'm not sure about this, Serena, Alex muttered, taking a step back. This whole thing feels too much. You can't just show up and expect me to. Serena stepped forward, her presence filling the space between them once again. She reached out, gently cupping his face in her hands, making sure he was looking at her. Her eyes were intense, as if she were trying to reach some deep part of him, some part he didn't even know existed. Alex, she said softly, this is the beginning of something powerful. Something you can't begin to understand yet. You don't have to be afraid. He didn't respond immediately, his mind still racing. His usual skepticism was fighting against this strange pull, the one that Serena seemed to be creating with each word, each touch. The idea of asterisk bonding asterisk, a deep connection that transcended physical touch, felt almost too surreal, something out of a movie. But the way she looked at him, the way her fingers traced patterns along his jawline, made him question everything he thought he knew. Just trust me, Serena repeated, her voice soft but unwavering. You don't have to understand it all right now. Just let go and asterisk be here asterisk with me. There was no time to think, no space to process. Everything was happening so quickly. The air between them hummed with an unspoken intensity, and Alex felt the weight of it pressing down on him. Was it possible that this asterisk was asterisk real? That this strange woman, an alien with a purpose, was right? Could he really experience something like this, something profound enough to bridge two entirely different species? Without thinking, his body responded to her pull. He leaned in, his lips meeting hers again, and this time it was different. There was a certain tension that had been there before, but now it was replaced with a strange feeling of release, as if his body was no longer trying to fight the inevitable, but rather embracing it. His hands found their way to her back, pulling her closer, and for a brief moment, it felt like the world had narrowed down to just the two of them. Serena didn't break the kiss. She deepened it, her hands sliding from his shoulders to his chest, pressing him against her with an urgency that was hard to ignore. There was a strange kind of heat building between them, a heat that wasn't just physical. It was something more, something intangible and foreign. Alex's head swam as he tried to make sense of the emotions flooding through him. Every kiss, every touch, felt like a new piece of the puzzle he was struggling to solve. Serena's hand slid to the back of his neck, her fingers pressing into his skin, and Alex couldn't help but shiver. There was a sense of power behind her touch, not in an aggressive way, but in a way that made him feel small, like he was a part of something much bigger. He wasn't sure if he liked the feeling, but it was undeniable. "You're doing fine," Serena whispered between kisses, her lips brushing against his as she spoke. "Just let go. Let go." It was the one thing he couldn't quite wrap his head around, the one thing that terrified him. But as her hands moved over him, as she guided him deeper into the moment, Alex couldn't help but feel a strange connection building, one that transcended his fear. There was something in the way she made him feel seen, understood in ways no one had before. His mind screamed that this wasn't him, that he wasn't this guy, the one who would just give in to an alien woman and her strange rituals. But his body was telling him otherwise. The pull was undeniable. And when Serena's lips left his and her breath grazed his ear, he was left with no words. No more resistance. Only a strange clarity. "Ready?" she asked, her voice almost a purr, as though she knew exactly what he was feeling. Alex closed his eyes for a second. Asterisk ready for what? Asterisk. But the answer came to him in an instant. Ready to connect. Ready to feel. Ready to trust, even when every fiber of his being wanted to run. He opened his eyes and met her gaze. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sure what would happen next, but for some reason, he didn't mind. He was ready. The silence between them was charged, an almost tangible force hanging in the air. Alex felt the weight of Serena's gaze as if she was seeing something in him that he couldn't quite understand yet. The uncertainty that had filled him moments ago had been replaced with a strange, quiet certainty. Whatever was happening, whatever was meant to happen, was unfolding whether he was ready for it or not. He didn't know what to expect next, and the thought of not being in control had always been something that unnerved him. But right now, it felt almost like he was meant to let go, like something much larger than his own hesitation was pulling him along, leading him forward. Serena's eyes never left his as she spoke again, her voice smooth but carrying an undeniable intensity. "You're ready, Alex. Don't fight it." He wasn't sure if the words were meant to reassure him or simply to push him further into the unknown, but for some reason, he didn't mind. It was like she was giving him permission to finally stop resisting, to stop overthinking, to just feel. Ready for what exactly? Alex finally managed to say, his voice coming out quieter than he intended. He wasn't sure what part of the ritual they were in anymore, or how much more he could handle. "What happens now?" Serena's lips curled into a knowing smile, a slight tilt of her head adding to the mystery that surrounded her. "Now, we do what needs to be done. It's about connection, Alex. Understanding. Sharing." Her fingers traced the side of his face, the softness of her touch still sending shivers down his spine. His heart pounded in his chest as her words sank in. There was something in her presence that made him feel both vulnerable and invincible at the same time. It was as if he were being given the chance to experience something he could never fully comprehend until it was happening. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was bigger than that. Bigger than anything he had ever known. "I don't." He cut himself off. The words felt hollow. He didn't know how to explain the rush of conflicting emotions that were churning in his stomach. "I still don't get how this bonding thing is supposed to help." Serena's gaze softened, but there was a steady warmth in her eyes that made him feel like he wasn't being judged for his confusion. "It's not about you understanding everything, Alex. It's about the experience. You're not meant to understand it all yet. You're meant to feel it. You're meant to be it." The weight of her words settled in his chest. There was no going back now, no undoing what had already begun. Serena had shown him a glimpse into something that felt as vast and foreign as the stars themselves. It was both terrifying and exhilarating. His mind raced, trying to hold onto something concrete, but there was nothing to grasp. All he had were the feelings, the ones that were quickly overwhelming him. And then, as if to punctuate the moment, Serena took a step closer, placing both hands on his chest. Her touch was firm, but not in a way that felt invasive. She was giving him space, yet somehow she was pulling him deeper into this experience. "Do you trust me now?" Serena's voice was almost a whisper, but the question held weight, like the answer was more than just a simple yes or no. He swallowed hard. I don't know," Alex admitted, the truth hanging in the air. "But I think I'm starting to." Serena nodded slowly, as though she had expected this answer. "That's enough for now," she said. Her tone was calm, almost reassuring, but there was still an edge to it that made him feel like he was standing on the edge of something unknown. Before he could process what was happening, Serena pulled him in again. This time, the kiss was different. It wasn't the soft exploration they'd shared before. It was deeper, more consuming, as if she were pulling him into her very being. Alex tried to steady his breathing, but it felt like the air itself was charged, thick with everything that had yet to be said or done. His hands instinctively moved to her back, pulling her closer, and in that moment, it felt like everything came crashing together. The hesitation, the questions, the uncertainty, all of it dissolved in the intensity of the kiss. His body responded in ways that were foreign to him, but somehow, it felt right. It felt necessary star. Serena's hands slid lower, tracing the lines of his body with a deliberate slowness, her touch coaxing him to give into something deeper. His thoughts were scattered, overwhelmed by the sensation of her closeness, the heat between them. But somewhere in the back of his mind, the realization hit him. This wasn't just physical. It couldn't be just physical. There was a pull between them, a magnetic connection that felt like it went beyond the surface. This wasn't about just being touched or touched in return. It was about feeling about the unspoken bond being forged between them, something that transcended the obvious and dug into the heart of the ritual. His body wanted to resist. His mind screamed for answers. But his heart seemed to understand what his brain couldn't quite process. It wasn't just about sex. It wasn't just about physical connection. This was about sharing something fundamental, something that reached deeper than anything either of them had ever known. And yet, Alex couldn't help but ask the question that kept nagging at him. But, why me? He broke the kiss again, his breath ragged as he searched Serena's eyes, trying to make sense of it all. Why did you pick me for this? There are so many people who could have done this better. Someone more qualified. Serena smiled, though it wasn't a reassuring smile. It was knowing, as if she had expected this question. Because you're human, Alex, and because you're ready to become more than you've ever thought possible. You're ready to experience what humanity has to offer in a way you never could have imagined. She leaned in again, her lips just a breath away from his ear. You've been chosen for this, not because of what you know but because of what you have yet to understand. Humanity's potential isn't in what it's done, Alex. It's in what it's capable of. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. He didn't know how to respond. He didn't know if he could. But as her hands slipped under his shirt, pulling him closer once again, Alex realized that the connection they were creating, whether he fully understood it or not, was bigger than any fear or uncertainty he had ever known. She was right. He wasn't supposed to understand everything. He wasn't supposed to figure it out just yet. What mattered now was the moment, the experience, the connection, and for once in his life, Alex was ready to stop questioning everything, to just feel it, to let go of the need for answers and simply exist in what was happening. For humanity's sake and his own, he was ready.